know what they want in fashion. They are, maybe for some people who like freestyle outfits, and they feel, okay, I would like to take care of that aspect of people who also like freestyle outfits like me, and they go into that basically. They just want to learn just the aspect of fashion. Meanwhile, there are some other people who they don't know where they will work on yet, but they know that they want to learn fashion. Now, these people, there's nothing wrong with them. But the fact is that some people find what they want to do along the line as they continue their fashion journey. They know what they want to do. Please, we want to take a short break. Okay. I apologize for that short break. We had to take care of some technical issues. I think we're okay now. All right, so as I was saying, that some people have passion for tailoring, and on their mind, they just want to figure out how to go about it. What steps can they take? And one thing is, you have to pay attention first to what you want to do. And that's what brought us back, takes us back to that question I asked earlier. Why are you studying? Why do you want to be a fashion designer? What is your drive? Is it passion, or is it just going to be a side hustle, or is it going to be something that, okay, you really want to do? So once that is figured out, you can now try to have a goal in mind. Okay, what aspect of fashion do I want to go? Remember, I said it's not everybody from the start that can narrow down to what they want. So you just think about it. Okay, do I want to go into male clothing? Do I want to go into female clothing? Or what aspects do I want to go into? So once you have a goal, it's now necessary for you to break down those large goals into smaller goals. Why? The truth is that when we have a bigger goal, it is challenging to think of it and think of what to do. But when you break down these goals into smaller bit and tasks, then you are going to know that, okay, I'm making progress. Once you make one step, you know, okay, this one is done. This is the next thing to do. So that's what we're going to start with now. I'm going to try to help everyone try to break their goals, their bigger goal, into a smaller goal. I want to assume that everybody knows why they want fashion. And then, at least in a broader picture, you know what you want from fashion. Or those who are in fashion, they already know where they want to improve in. So now, I want us to look at how we can break these bigger goals into smaller goals. If you can see on the screen right now, we have what is called SMART goals. We have what is called SMART goals. Now, what is the meaning of SMART goals? We want our goals to be specific. We want it to be measurable. It has to be attainable. It also has to be relevant and then time bound. Now, what do I mean when I say these words? We'll be taking them one after the other. When you talk about your goals being specific, for example, somebody who is just aspiring to become a fashion designer. On the person's mind, he knows that, okay, I want to be a fashion designer. I want to sew outfits for maybe females. You know that on your mind already. That becomes your specific goal. That is what we are, the bigger picture. That is what you want. We now, after identifying that, being specific on what you want, you go to the next one. That is being measurable. Now, what does it mean to have measurable goals? Having measurable goals means that we're able to say, okay, I want to save up. For somebody who is just aspiring into fashion, I don't have a machine. I know I would need a machine to learn. So what I want to do is, okay, to get a machine now, I want to save up 1K or 5K. Let's put it at 5K. I want to save up 5K every month to be able to get a machine. Remember, the goal was that she wants to learn fashion. Or for somebody who is, or for someone who is already in fashion, let's assume the person wants a fashion house. Now, the person's goal is that, okay, to get that fashion house, I'm going to be saving from every proceed of customers' clothes I'm sewing. I'm going to be saving about 2,000 naira. That is being measurable. Now, we'll now go to being able to achieve or attain our goals. How do we do that? We look at what are the resources I have available? How much time do I have to get this thing I want? How much effort do I need to put in? Like, for example, that person that said you want 5K to be saved every month for a sewing machine. Now, you look at that 5K. Is it something I can afford? Do I have a job or a means of getting that 5K steady every month? Or is it something that maybe I have to cut down a bit to be able to achieve my goal? Now, keep in mind that sometimes this question you're asking yourself may redirect you to address other issues before you can even get that to that point you are trying to achieve. For example, that person that is saying that she wants to be saving 1,000 from every customer's clothes. Imagine that she doesn't have customers at all. Is that goal going to be achievable? Of course, no. So the first thing she has to address first is that she has to address getting customers. How can I get customers? After she gets the customers, okay, she can now go ahead to saying, okay, this particular amount, I'm going to be saving it up every month for getting a fashion house. Or that person that said she wants a sewing machine, she doesn't have a job or she doesn't have a monthly allowance. Of course, you know that it is not going to be possible to get that sewing machine. So the first thing she's going to do is, okay, either she gets a job, or if there is somebody that will be giving her monthly income, she will get a way of fixing that to ensure that that goal is achievable of getting the sewing machine. And that thing you now think of is that my goal realistic? Is it relevant? You have to understand this, because along the line it's going to be the force keeping you going. If you don't understand why you are choosing fashion or why you are setting this goal of getting a sewing machine, then maybe along the line there will be other things that will distract you. Oh, I have a party. That 5,000 that you're supposed to keep for your sewing machine, next thing you use it to buy shoe, you use it to buy clothes. That is because you are not being realistic to yourself on what's the benefit of saving that sewing machine, saving that money for the sewing machine will give you. So that is about being relevant. Then, is it timely? Is it time bound? Don't just say, I want to buy a sewing machine. I'll be saving that money every month. You want to give yourself a time frame. Okay, this 5K sewing machine is 35,000. Assumption is 35,000. Okay, how many months will it take me to get that sewing machine of 35,000 if I'm saving up 5K for every month? Now we're in August. Okay, August, September, October, November. By November, the person has 20K. By December, he has 25. By January, he has 30. By February, you have 35,000. So you note it on your notes pad that, okay, I want to save up 5,000 till February, when that money will be complete. Now, why do you need all of this? you need to do this so that over time you can be able to monitor your progress. By the time you go back and check, maybe by that February, even before February, you should be able to check your notes and see if there are any areas I need to adjust, maybe due to change of circumstances or other factors. Then you would now determine, okay, have I been able to achieve this goal? Good enough. If you're able to achieve that goal, then you can as well use this same method, this SMART method, to develop other goals as well. Now, after getting your sewing machine, let's assume that we're able to achieve our goal of getting a sewing machine. The next thing is we are going to start looking for where to train to get that fashion knowledge that we need. Now, remember, we are going to have another example. Let's assume a parent who wants to get a child into a new school. There are things the parents will look out for, or a guardian wants to put a child in a new school. There are things you will look out for. You will try to look out for, okay, this school, are they going to teach this child well? I don't want my money to go to waste. Are they going to help my child develop to become intelligent? It now even becomes a plus when somebody tells you that, you see that school. In fact, this child, he left so school. He never knew anything, and they took him there. He knows a lot now. He does this. In fact, he's stopping his class. And parents is even telling that, I didn't know that child can perform that well. Of course, seeing that kind of review or seeing that kind of thing by yourself, if at all you're going to experience it, which school you want your child to go to? You want your child to go to a school that will perform well. So on that note, I want us to have that in mind, that there are things to look out for when you want to take training for fashion. It's not just enough to say, this person is sews now. You go there and just start learning. There are things that we need to look out for. We want to understand that it's not everybody that sews that has passion on the job. It's not everybody that sews that also knows the business side of fashion. And it's not everybody that sews that are really concerned about your progress. Some of them are just concerned about getting money from fashion. So I want to mention something that we can look at when we are trying to get a fashion school. If at all we have to go to a fashion school. I know it's not everybody that may be opportunity to go to a fashion school. But on the other hand, we also talk about if at all you need to train at a tailor's shop, what are things to look out for? Let's start with those from who intend to go to a fashion school. Let's start with those who intend to go to a fashion school. The first thing that they want to do is that they want to ask questions. Of course, there are people who have gone to that school. There are people that are actually there at the moment. What is their experience like? You want to know what have they gained so far from coming here? Okay, I've been here for like 3 months. What have you gained? Of course, they may not want to tell you that they didn't like what they learned, but of course, you should be able to read from their expression. Or even when you get to the place, the environment of learning, what is it like? Those who have gone to the fashion school, are they people that, okay, after they finished, they are able to stand on their own, they are doing well? Then what is their relationship with their students? After they are done, is that all? They don't care whether the student is doing well with what he has learned, or they just continue like that. Then you also want to monitor if the environment is good enough for you to learn. Now, remember that you also have to consider your resources, what you can afford. So within what you can afford, you look out for all these necessary points that has been mentioned. Then if it's someone who wants to learn from the store, from an experienced fashion designer in a shop, you need to ask those who are there, what is the experience like? There are some shops that the boss will not be willing to teach you what is needed. So you are there a year, 2 years, and you have nothing to show for it. So in such cases, you want to look out because it's not good enough for you to waste a whole 2 years or even more learning what you can learn in a bit. And even if you are going to spend 2 years, let me not say waste this time, spend 2 years, at least you should be able to have value for the time you are spending. You want to also look at, okay, how does she attend to her customers? How does she relate with those who are there? Does she, are they the type that when they are cutting, they'll ask you, oh yeah, go and buy something. Then you don't know what's, when they come, when they start sewing and putting things together, it looks like magic. So you look out for all of those things. Then what are their finished outfits? Like, are they the types that they don't care about their finishing? They just, the clothes is okay. They will manage it. Are they that type? So you need to look at all of this. Now, during training, what are things to focus on? You want to focus on being observant, very observant. The truth is, it's not everything that you'll be told. And then for those even in fashion school, you realize that maybe when they are new intakes, there are some points they won't tell you that they may mention to another person. So you need to be observant and watch what is going on around you. Another thing you can also do is that you want to ask a lot of questions. Don't be shy to ask questions. You paid for it. It's what you want. So ask a lot of questions to know what needs to be done in areas that are confusing to you. And don't stop at, okay, after I'm training, so I'm going to know everything. No, you won't know everything. In fact, most places, they train for just 3 months or thereabouts. So it's not enough to know the in and out of fashion. There's a lot about fashion that you would need to know aside from sewing. So ask a lot of questions. Try to practice on your own. And as you practice, always ask questions from people who you know that, okay, they know about what you are trying to learn about. So after your training, what is next? So that leads us to identifying the pitfalls as a startup designer. There's a misconception that many people have. They believe that once they finish their fashion training, the next thing, I need to get a place, I need to start up, I need to start attending to customers. Well, it doesn't work like that, because there are other aspects of fashion that are important aside from sewing. For example, you need to know how to attend to customers. That is very important. I remember I had an experience with an irate customer. In fact, it was a very little thing that caused the issue. The picture she sent, the sleeve in the picture was a short sleeve, and I already had her measurements. She was not a first-time customer. So she demanded that we sew that same replica of the style in the picture, only for her to come for fitting. Now, when she wore it, there's this scar on her hands that she didn't want to show. So she was now, she just started shouting. She needed to see the way the clothes was okay, like every other thing was okay. But the sleeve, she started complaining about it seriously, that the length is not where she wants it to be. Meanwhile, what is in the picture is what we replicated for her, that was done for her. But she wanted it to be a bit longer, at least to cover that scar, which I wouldn't have known because she did not tell me. So sometimes you can meet customers like that. In fact, to be said that day, it was something else. Anybody that would have heard it would have thought that the clothes was not even good at all. But really, it was just because of about 2 inches longer that she wanted that sleeve to be that caused issue. So imagine having to handle things like that. There are some people that they just smell trouble when you see them. So you need to learn how to handle people like that. You also need to learn how to charge your customers. I'm sure most of us who are in different social media groups will be seeing questions like, how do I like that? Well, the truth is, charges differ depending on location. Some people, the amount they buy their materials in their location may be different from what another person buys his own materials in another location. So those are factors that you need to consider while you are, trying to go into fashion. It's not just enough for you to say, finish, and then next thing you're going to get a place. It's not okay. There are a lot of factors that you need to know about. And these are also reasons why we see a lot of this is what I ordered versus what I got. The truth is, 3 months experience is not enough to be able to start up that big fashion house you are thinking of yet. You still need experience over time that will guide you. So what is the next thing to do? The next thing is to intern. Why is internship necessary? Internship is necessary because it helps you to know other aspects aside from sewing, which is most times focused on. Or learning how to pattern. There are more to sewing and more to patterning. You need to know all these things. So it is not enough for you to just start training and next thing just start up. It's not enough. Now look at them, for example, those who are doctors, who are lawyers. They take more than, some take up to 5 years learning how to be a doctor or be a lawyer. But then after they are done with their training, what do? They go for internship. Why is this? Because the truth is, what we learn is different from practical. So when they are in the law school, they're able to say, okay, this is what you do when you get this kind of case and that. They know what to do. But when you're out and you're facing it, it's a different ball game. So what is best is that go and intern, get somebody who you know that, okay, this person, I like the way he does his fashion. I would like to be like this person. Or you know that you can learn something really good from that person, and to best to intern with such a person. And nothing is trying to do too much by yourself. The truth is that when a business starts, when eventually you have a business, it's not enough to just start doing it. You see some people, only them they are selling fabrics, only them they are nabadasha, they sell different types of tailoring materials, only them they are fashion trainers online, only them they are physical fashion trainers. You don't take up too much at a time. Businesses grow. Focus on one aspect. If you want to sew first, focus on that aspect. Be good at it. Then when you have a structure in place, you can now start adding other things so that it doesn't become overburdened. Even though one has passion for fashion, when it becomes too weighty on you, you lose your joy. So it's best to take things slow. Of course, you will know at what rate to progress. Don't look at, fine, you may look at other people and look at, this person is doing so well. I want to be like this person. Fine, but take it slow. Do at your own pace. Don't rush. Everybody has space to grow. Some people they may be doing it all and it's good for them, but seriously, it's a lot. So take it slow. Take it one at a time. Okay, if you want to learn sewing, learn that sewing, focus on it for some time. Okay, I'm good enough now. I think I can now train people. You start training people. So one step at a time. That will help to focus on perfecting your passion before adding other things to it. Then another thing is, don't try to figure it out. The fact that you have done training, most of the time, most fashion school now, they do training of 3 months duration. Don't feel as if, oh, after this training, I have arrived, I know it all. No. We keep learning. No matter how long one has been a designer, you keep learning. So stay abreast with information. Try to see, okay, the data you use on just browsing and while away time, try to learn new things. You'll be surprised what you can see online and how far you can go in this business of fashion. You just need to keep studying. Then invest a lot in your fashion skill. What do I mean by having to invest? You have webinars like this. Some are free, some are paid. You have Facebook Live sections that talk about fashion. You even have as little as WhatsApp groups that, we talk about fashion, they trash fashion issues. Okay, you want to sew a particular style. I don't know this style. How do I go about it? There are little groups, subgroups like that help people to know more about fashion. So even if you don't have money to pay for a paid class, but these little ones that may just require like your data, try as much as possible to participate. No matter how experienced one is, the truth is, you just need to listen to other stuff. People see things from different perspectives. So when you listen to them, when you hear them, no matter how little it is, you learn something. That is just one thing. Even if you are an experienced designer. Another thing too we need to put in mind is that there are different ways to achieve a particular thing. So let's assume that you are taught in a fashion school that, okay, this is how to sew a particular style. Have in mind that people have ways of doing different things. Listen to other people's way of doing things and learn from it. The truth is that sometimes you may find out that what the other person is trying to enlighten you on may even be way more simpler than the method you know. But if you don't listen and you feel that, oh, I know it all, then over time, you just get to see that your knowledge will become residual. You are just dwelling on what you have always known, but be open to new ideas. Now, I want to turn direction to those who are already experienced fashion designers, and then want to say what are areas that they can improve on. What are areas that they can improve on? The truth is that most times fashion designers who are experienced, most times they become so engrossed in sewing, always on the machine. Any little chance we have, we are sewing or we are cutting. But we want to remember that there are other sides to our business that needs to be taken care of. For example, some people will complain that they've been in this fashion business for a long time, but they don't have customers, or the customers come, they are charging them, and when they charge, they will just price the clothing anyhow and things like that. Now, I want us to take a look at this picture on the screen. There are two pictures there. Okay, there are two pictures there. One, you see, it is not branded. It is just in the plastic. While the other one is well branded. Now, if somebody is to sell this to you, and the one on the left tells you that this abo is let's say 500 naira. You say, what is 500 naira? That this thing can go for 50 naira now. You will price it. But imagine seeing the one on the left, on the right, sorry, and somebody tells you that it's 1,000. Even you, sometimes, some people, even because of their ego, they don't want to price. They'll say, oh yeah, bring it, even when they don't even have the money. So what am I trying to say? We need to work on our brand, like give attention to branding. It's not just about sewing. Why it is good that we are sewing, we also need to pay attention to our workplace, our branding. When somebody enters our workshop, how does it look like? Is there clothes hanging everywhere? Or when they look at our finished outfits, do we have threads hanging here and there? Or the sewing is not neat? Or we are using a black thread on the bright colored clothes? You know, little things as that create an impression on the minds of our customers. So we need to improve on how we treat our business and send a good message to those who are saying it. The truth is, they say dress the way you want to be addressed. If somebody comes to your office and they see that everywhere the setting, they know that it will take money to be able to attain that level for maintenance and all. So they want to pay. But when you now go to your workspace and everywhere is just scattered, that's one of the reasons why we have issues with our pricing. Well, we'll be talking more about that in future times. We'll have someone come around sometime in future to talk to us about branding, how we can work on our brands to have a good sense to our customers. Another thing to want to talk about is that most times we complain that our customers, they complain, we sew clothes for them and they will start complaining that the clothes is not good, this is not that. Fine, we know that sincerely, there are some that they just complain unnecessarily. But at the same time, we also want to read in between the lines and pay attention to feedback. Want to pay attention to feedback. Sometimes they may be trying to tell us to work on a particular area, but we are too engrossed in the fact that the person is giving us, is being critical of our work. And so we don't even take time to think about, okay, this thing this person said, what are the areas I can work on? So it is necessary that we do this, even though, fine, we know that we have some that are irate customers or that they never see good in anything. But there are some that sincerely, they will tell you what they notice. And when we take note of this criticism, it helps us to do better. Then another thing that I want to look at is pay attention to networking and connection. Like I said, most times we are so engrossed, we don't go out. We're always on our machine, either from machine to the house back to the machine. Most times that is our routine. We want to network, we want to go out, we want to meet other people who are into fashion. You'll be surprised what an ordinary outing can do. You'll be surprised what you can learn from another fashion designer when you listen to them, no matter who the person is. I've actually learned from somebody who I was training before. She learned from somewhere else before she came to me. And, you know, she told me that this method, somebody taught me something like this. So, and I said, okay, let me see your method. Funny enough, when she taught me, I prefer that method to what I already know. That is additional knowledge for me. That is a plus. So be willing to listen to other people, no matter what the person is, even if the person is your student. That is how we gain knowledge. We continue to listen to others and we grow. So in summary, we've been able to see that we need to set goals. As long as we live in this world, if we want to have direction in life, we need to set goals. And we need to ensure that those goals we set, they help us get a vision to where we are going. From time to time, review and see, okay, this goal I have, am I still in line, or is there anything that I need to adjust, and keep working on it. We are all work in progress. There's nobody that is made. We are all work in progress. So we need to also give attention to investing in our fashion knowledge. It's not enough. Knowledge can go obsolete. But somehow in this time and era, we are all surrounded by knowledge everywhere on social media. You can see online a lot of information as much as you want. So don't relax on that, on what you have already known. Continue to learn and be more creative. Try to think outside the box. You'll be surprised what your mind can come up with. So in conclusion, if either you're a fashion designer or someone who just wants to start up, we want to have in mind that we want to aim for excellence, we want to put our mind for the best. Don't just look at, there's money there, and just because of that, you want to go. The truth is, not everybody that gets that money immediately. But that passion you have, after building on it over time, you'll be able to see and get what you want. The truth is, sometimes too, there might be fear. You may have fears like, okay, I'm not doing well, or what am I doing that others are not, and what am I not doing that others are doing? But don't let that fear draw you back. Instead, let it help you look out at what you are not doing and try to fix it and move on. So on these notes, I want to say thank you to everybody that joined in. And we'll welcome in questions now. So if you want to ask any question, you can do well to unmute and talk. We'll be listening. Please, we'll need to see those who want to talk. You can use the raise hand feature. So when you raise your hand, we'll be able to call on you to come to say whatever questions you want to ask or anything you want to say. We'll be willing to listen to you. You can also share ideas. Like I said, we can learn from others. So whatever things you want to add, we are willing to listen. Whatever questions you want to ask, also willing to listen. Okay, you can't see any hands. So do we say everything is clear? Okay. I can see somebody raising a hand. Joe and Abel. Please, we are all listening. We're hearing. You can
Okay,
unmute yourself,
evening,
please. Joan.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, I can hear you very clearly.
All right. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you so much for the webinar. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing everything that you have shared with us. So my question is, I am currently learning how to sew, so I'm going to learn. So my question is, like, what would you recommend someone who is just starting out and probably wants to start ready to wear? How do you establish yourself, in the fashion industry when you just want to start as ready to wear, not sewing for, not bespoke? That's what it's called, yeah? Yes, not bespoke. How do you establish yourself as a brand in the ready to wear area?
All right. Thank you, John, for that question. For ready to wear, the truth is, I most times recommend starting up with little. Don't just go out and buy fabrics and then, okay, I want to start ready to wear. Business itself is a risk, but you also have to calculate your risk. Like, what you can do is, okay, pick your styles. What styles do you want to make first? Ensure that you are good at least good enough to make those styles. Get fabrics. If possible, you can use yourself as a model or get somebody that you know that, okay, when the person wears those outfits, will bring out the beauty of your style. Start really small. So you can sew a piece each, advertise. After advertising, you get to see that there might be demand for some particular clothes than the others. So imagine that you just went out and you sold everything down, and they demanded for one, and the others, there is no demand for it at all. That will result in waste. So what you can do is sew each piece of the particular designs you want to let out. Have a photo section if you can afford that, or get good pictures, at least good enough pictures. Get good pictures, post, and see the feedback you get. So depending on what is ordered more, then you know that, okay, this is a particular aspect that my audience wants. Do you get? So this is a particular aspect that my audience are willing to get from me. And so from there, you start focusing on that aspect to produce more. But don't go all out and just buy fabrics and sew down. It may become disappointing when nobody buys at all, because you are just trying that field out. So the first thing you want to do is maybe you can make one piece each. You can snap pictures and then publicize that and see the result, the feedback you get from that. That tells you the next step to make after that. I don't know if I've answered the question well, Joan.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm seeing a hand, but there's no name to it. Okay.
Hello, good evening, ma.
Yeah, good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Good
I can hear you.
evening.
Please, your name.
My name is Sandra.
Sandra. Okay. Sandra,
My
what
name
are
is
you going to
Sandra.
say?
Yeah. All right. I want to thank you. I want to appreciate you for sharing your ideas. Thank you very much. And I also want to contribute to what you said. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also want to contribute to
Yeah,
what
we're
you
listening.
said. For a beginners, I don't think you mentioned something about passion. You have passion for fashion.
Yes.
So most of
Yes.
us as a fashion designer, we just want to dive into it. Like we saw the styles, we want to make them for ourselves, we want to start trending. But the truth is that fashion is not easy. It's not something we can dive in. You need to have good finishing. Then you don't have to allow money to be your interest or your first goal. Because if you use money as your first interest, like you just want to go into start getting money, start diving in just for the money, then you're getting it all wrong, because you might get disappointed at the long run. So you need to have this passion. And for the person that just asked question about for ready to wear, yes, it's good for you to start doing ready to wear, but you need to understand that you have to have a good a nice finishing. Do you understand? And as you said, start small. The person should just start small and just don't dive in like you want to start making money. And when you start, honestly, the money won't be coming. It's not coming as a starter. Or when you start, you will not see the money. At some point, you want to give up. But it's the passion or the zeal is what will make you to stay on and be steadfast on it. So thank you for sharing your ideas, and it's really wonderful listening to you and gaining having more ideas, adding up to my own ideas too. So thank you very much. I really appreciate.
Thank you, Sandra. I really appreciate the point you mentioned. It's true. For startups, the truth is that sometimes people need to trust your brand first. They need to be sure that you can deliver. So sometimes it may even be just family and friends you may be sewing for at a time. And when they start, when they start wearing it, another see, they may now be like, okay, who made this outfit? And like this person, oh, so she's a bit so like this. So people need to trust your brand. You need to see what you're capable of doing. Sandra, thank you so much for mentioning that point. It's not at the start that everybody gets it hot. In fact, most times you have to be patient for the business to grow. And it's that passion that will drive you. And that is why, remember in the beginning, we mentioned about reasons why people get married. Some like that person that is going in for financial purposes reasons. If that money is gone, what happens to the marriage? It's gone. But somebody who is really there because of the love, no matter how hard it is, he'll be willing to make it work. He'll be willing to try different methods. Before even he will give up, you know that I've explored everything I can do. Thank you so much, Sandra. So once our passion for fashion to continue to move us, Any other person, please? Any more hands? Any other person that wants to say anything or ask any question? Okay, since there's no hands, or maybe some other people are still thinking about what there's a club where those who are interested in fashion, like minds, can all share ideas. You know, maybe you have difficulty with a particular style, like I mentioned, you can bring it up there. You feel that okay, there's something we can do as a fashion designer to improve ourselves, like tips in fashion, basically everything fashion. You know, we can even have them hang out, like meet, talk, and like be like one big family, be there for each other, and do things together. If anyone is interested, we would want you to indicate on the group, then you'll be added to that group. The name of the group is Fashion Minders Club. Fashion Minders Club. So it's only for those who are really serious about fashion, who are passionate about it, because we will not want people who would not say anything, who are silent observers, just willing to learn. If everybody remains silent in the group, you know what can happen. And so we want those who are really interested, and it is totally free. It is totally free. The purpose of that group is for all of us to grow. Like I said, we can learn from anybody, no matter who the person is. So don't feel that I've already known it all. Well, if you feel that way, fine. The group will not be for you. But if you feel that, okay, I'm willing to learn, I'm open to ideas, you'll be surprised what something as little as a group can help you to achieve. So we'll be sharing different tips on fashion, you know, just things that will help us develop ourselves and see how well we can improve on our fashion skills. And the name of the club, okay, I can say the question from Idara. The name of the club is Fashion Minders Club. Fashion Minders, those who are really passionate about fashion. Fashion Minders Club. So anyone who is interested will be added into the group. And of course, we know that for every group there are rules and regulations that guides just for decorum, and so that we don't have unwanted messages disturbing us. So, like I said, the purpose of that group is to help us grow. We are going to be one family, be there for each other. I know there are people among us, like Sandra seems to know about fashion too. People like that so can also help us to impute, you know, anybody. So it's not going to be for just certain people to just build us up. For everybody, no matter what you know, as far as you're even learning fashion, you cannot tell me you don't know anything. I'm just a beginner. There must be something on your mind. At least one person in that group would not know. So be willing to, you know, put in whatever knowledge you have and be willing to make it grow. So I don't know, does anybody have any other thing to say? Any more hands? Okay, since everybody is clear. So on that note, we're calling it the end of our section, and we are really thankful to all of you that were able to join in for making it a success. We'll be having webinars like this from time to time, just to enlighten ourselves, you know, just to avoid most of the mistakes that most people would have avoided if they had known about it. So we'll be talking about different things, ranging from pricing to branding. So just keep on the watch. There'll be other forms of webinars like this that will help to enlighten us. So thank you all. We'll be calling it the end of the webinar at 6 for now. If there's any other thing you want us to talk about or want to mention, and maybe you did not remember in here, the group will be open now. So you can drop any information you want to drop there. Then we can attend to it. So thank you so much.